Hi, and welcome to another episode of Latina Leadership Series. This is take 2. My dumbass had her at the Spoil Latina Summit, and of course, it would be me. Okay, look, Juan, it was Juan's fault because he sets it up for me, and he wasn't there, and there was a central part of the audio that was connected to the Zoom to the camera. Right now, there's a small hum because we're outside, we're comfortable, but there is an AC. We live in Houston. Okay, everything's always humming. The cars,
Something's always on.
Something's always on. Okay, let's start. But quick fact: did you know we are the most air-conditioned city in the entire world?
I believe it. First, there's too many people. Second, it's hot.
It's hot. It's Bayou City, so it's like humid and hot, and it's a thing. Okay, so hi, how are you? And welcome back. So you already you know my guest. You know my guest. You've seen her on TikTok. You've seen her on the Reels. You've seen her in the space. You know who she is. Pero la introduction, because that's what I allow to do. I allow my guests to introduce themselves and tell me who they are.
Of course. Well, this was amazing because I got to see you again.
Yeah.
It was like take 2. Like we get to hang out again.
I'm
Like
chicle all in my mouth. Go ahead.
you're so funny. No, but yes, my name is Estefania Saavedra. I am a content creator. I'm mostly on TikTok, but I am also on Instagram. I do a lot of comedy skits, lip syncing, makeup videos, singing, dancing, just having a good old time. But mostly people know me as Tiny Hands.
It's Tiny Hands, yes, ma'am.
Manitas.
Manitas, las manitas.
Yes.
So, okay, tiny hands. So the part of the skit is tiny hands. It's the things that you put on your fingers, and you have like a whole little like, what would you call it? Like, what is the personality? What is the
I think it's not like a person. I think like you add the personality to it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But once you put them on, it's like, a lot of people are like, why are you such a natural at this? I'm like, I don't know. I usually have like long sleeves so I can cover my hands. And I'm literally, if you would see behind the scenes, all you see is like me like... and like holding stuff, but it's like the tiny hands. Yeah. So I feel like I give the tiny hands like that charisma, and that personality.
You do. Who do you embody when you take on the tiny hands?
I don't know.
Because I know who you embody when you take on Paco, but who do you embody when you take on the tiny hands?
Man, tiny hands is like not afraid of nothing.
No. She don't care. She'll do whatever. She don't care if people look at her. She's been on like cruises, like just eating. A lot of people look at her and they're like, oh my God, what's wrong with her? Like, what's wrong? Recording with the tiny hands
all the time. So she's not fearful at all.
Mm-hmm.
She's a little daredevil. Like she don't care. She's like, I'm gonna do me. That's who.
I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, I want to say.
So let's take it to the beginning. What made you start? What made you want to do it? Obviously, the social was already out there. I'm sure you knew about Vine. You know about YouTube. You know about Reels. You knew about... Why? Why did you start?
So, funny thing, the pandemic, like a lot of content creators got started, but I had left my job. I was miserable and I was going through a pretty bad depression.
Okay.
And I had started going to therapy, and my therapist is like, well, what do you like to do? Like, just do it. And I was like, TikTok is kind of blowing up, and my husband was the one that kind of introduced me, and he would send me like videos, and I was like, this is hilarious, like, and I was just keep scrolling, and I'm like, I think I can do this. So then that's when my therapist was like encouraging me and was like, just do it, even if just do it for yourself, have fun with it. And I literally started doing that. Like, I would post videos and I would just look at myself like 10 times. I'm like, I'm freaking like, this is hilarious. Like, I don't even care. People like,
you found yourself funny.
I found myself hilarious. I really do. I'm not kidding you. Hey, I'm not the greatest singer. I'm not the greatest dancer. I mean, I can kind of do a couple things here and there, but I know I'm funny, man. Like I know
Yeah.
it. You know, I'm at least goofy. You know, something. But I would crack myself up, and then I started posting it like on Facebook and like TikTok and Instagram and all this, and like I started building up my following. And I remember when like I had like 2,000 followers, and I was like,
oh my god, I made it.
I made it, mommy.
I made it.
I'm famous. You know, no. So then that's when, and then my second video with the tiny hands, that's when
that's the one that took off.
it took off, and it went viral, and it was just up from there.
It was up from there. Yeah. So you've been moving on up, and you've been doing amazing things lately. And I'm watching you because I've seen your growth. So I've met you several times. But this time I had the aptitude to be like, go fucking tell her hi. You have your equipment here. You would die. Your husband would like fall over. Go ask her for build the encouragement. And then you were with Jenny. I was like, fuck, man. If anything, funny people get this. So let me go over there and be like, hey, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I'm so glad you did, man. You're really cool.
Thank you. You guys are so relatable. You're so relatable. You're so relatable to all the aspects. Not only are you funny, but you're sincere. And I think that comes across. And even in person, like it comes across. So, okay. So you're doing Tiny Hands, and you're doing Paco, and then you're moving places. What are you doing? What is Tiny Hands doing right now? What is Paco doing?
So Paco had, he took a little bit of leave of absence. He's always taking a leave of absence, because like he, I'm kind of bringing him out in a few days, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited because he has like his mustache and he has his black curly hair. Yeah. But he doesn't have black curly hair right now, right? So like, and then I've tried, the wig. It just doesn't. It's not the same. Yeah. So something's coming with Paco, and you're gonna see it in a couple of days. And I just freaking, I'm so funny. So funny. But I mean, I'm still doing the Tiny Hands. The majority of the times where a brand will reach out or I'm doing a campaign, the first thing that I think is my characters, because that's what resonate and relate with other people. Like just doing everyday things, but with the Tiny Hands. Who would have thought that would be hilarious? Like I would have never thought. I remember doing like the Tiny Hand videos, and I'm like, okay, people are gonna get really tired of this already. Like they're gonna be like, okay, you know what, you're done. You're done. But no,
sometimes I question you why you don't post more.
I know. But it's just that I love you
have to take breaks. Yeah, I get it.
I do, but one of my favorite things to do, to be honest with you, is like
leave us wanting more.
What? Of course. All the time. I'm solo sorpresas.
Okay, but what are the things you like to do?
My facial expressions. I love acting. I love it, Pero, adding the Tiny Hands, I know people freaking like go crazy. So.
That was one of the things that I was telling you. Okay, so in the first interview, lo que le dije fue, look, I like the Tiny Hands, I like Paco, but one of the things that gets me every time is the fucking facial expressions. Is that, oh my God, okay, there's this one that you did. It's the one at the drive-thru. It's when you don't want to eat, but they want to eat, but they order, and they're like, they don't look to see who's gonna pay, and you're the one that pays. And there's that one scene where you're like, well, I guess I'm gonna pay. Like, it's like it's what we all want to do internally. You know what I mean? Right? So we're like, it's like, you bitch, you fucking brought me all the way out here, and supposedly, you know what I mean?
You were the one that was telling me in the first place.
So it's those reactions, it's those facial reactions that I take to, and that it's the faces that my sister makes, it's the faces that like our cousins make, it's the faces that our mothers make, it's the faces. So when you make those faces, you mentioned that it was always a natural thing for you to do, like throughout your life.
Guys, yes, always. And what I had said earlier was that my mom, she would get so mad at me because she'd be recording. She's like, okay, and I'd be like, and my mom's like, basta, don't do that, para con esas mañas. And I was always like doing stuff like that, like all the time. But I feel like also, what I said and a couple days ago too was that like I feel like it's also kind of part of our culture. Like
it is.
We're very expressive. Even like when you're like, mira, pásame eso. You know, we don't even like use our hands to be like, hey, can you get me that? It's over there. No, we gotta go.
I think we're using like what is it called?
Telepathy.
Telekinesis. What the fuck are we using?
Telephone?
What the fuck are we saying? But I think it's that mind, because my mom does that. She'll be like, agárrame eso. I'm like, ama, ¿qué? Eso no lo ves. Ma, what is it called? Esa chingadera, tú ya sabes lo que es, lo que estoy pensando. I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. And she's like, that thing that we were talking about earlier. I was like, 6 hours ago? I don't know what you're saying, mother. What do you want from me? Yeah. So we are very much like, we're that culture that talks with our hands, that are very expressive. And I like that. I love, it's an endearing like way that you do it. You do it in such a wholesome way. It's never like, it's never to put anybody down. It's never to make fun of anybody. It's always like you're not making fun of yourself, but you're relating like you.
Correct. Yeah. You know, I also kind of I try to be very mindful with my videos. Sometimes even just one little thing, you know, especially nowadays, like everything is very, very like everybody's looking at everything that you do, and it's like if you say something like, oh, you're done, baby, you're done, you know. But no, I definitely still try to be mindful, and what I do with my videos is it's like things that I've gone through or things that I experience, or it's just like you said, for myself, you know. But and then I know a lot of people can relate to it too.
We can. We absolutely, we love that stuff. All right, so I'm gonna take it back a little bit, because I like talking about other great things you do, but I want to talk to you a little bit about donde comenzaste, like how was it for you? And I know in the podcast sooner, and it's one of the things that I didn't talk to you about, but I was like, man, I really would have wished to talk about that, because I think that's so relevant to everybody in today's day and age. And as the pandemic happened, I think it hit the hardest. You talked about your anxiety.
Yeah.
So how did you, like, was it always in your life, or was it recent, or was it a thing? No,
it wasn't. I actually even had like friends growing up, and they're like, yeah, I go through anxiety, and I'm like, what is that? Like, I don't even know. I had never felt that. I mean, I felt fear, I have felt, you know, sadness, but never to the point. So in 2009, something pretty traumatic happened to me. Okay. And then that's when it kind of opened to this thing of like a mental health illness. And I mean, I struggled so much. It kind of, like, I kind of lost myself a little bit, because I'm like, who am I? And I think throughout our life, like, things that happen to us, things that we do, and, you know, just everyday things, like, have an impact on how, like, we can change, you know, things change, you know, with life just continuing, and then just things happening, like, can also impact ourselves and change us. So at first I was like, I don't know what is this, like, I have no idea how to cope, but then I started learning about it, and I started going to therapy.
What was the moment that you said, oh shit, I need help? What was it?
I was tripping. I was going to like the hospital all the time.
From your panic attacks?
From my panic attacks, because I was like, okay, my heart's racing. I'm feeling dizzy. I'm going to pass out. I'm like, I'm having a heart attack. So I would go all the time, and then I would have like these bouts of just like, I'm out of control, and what is happening. It's the weirdest thing to explain, because I'm like, I'm losing my mind. I'm losing control. I would scream. I mean, a lot of people don't know this, but I have had really, really bad panic attacks, like to the point where I like almost checked myself in, you know, to rehab, and my parents didn't know how to handle it because they didn't understand it at all.
You say checked into like a health place.
A health place
where you like stay several nights.
Yes. So because I honestly didn't know what to do. And
it's the most difficult thing to explain to, and especially to parents.
It was hard. It was really hard. So now my dad is very understanding. My mom, it still takes hurt a little bit to understand. But my dad is the one that usually is always like pendiente, and my husband as well. Like he understands a lot.
Sharing it with your parents was it's difficult.
It is because they didn't really understand, and I was just losing myself. But I did get close to God. I grew up Catholic, but then I started going to a Christian church, and it was more than a religion. Then it was it was more of a relationship with God, and I found myself that. I surrounded myself with positive people like me. When I felt like I was starting to get better is when I knew that I wasn't the only one. Okay. Because I could relate. Okay. And we go back to that being relatable, man. That is so strong, you know. So once I started to relate to them, I'm like, okay.
Who were you sharing your experiences with?
So people
outside of your family,
outside of my family, people from church, they understood a lot. Yeah, like I had I was like in my early 20s, and I remember, I was raised in South Florida, but I had just moved to Orlando. It was like a whole new thing. Like I decided to move and everything, and then I was in Orlando. I had started to go to this church, and then the pastor recommended me to go to this like college type of thing with like all the kids that also did like a youth group or kind of like an adult group. I don't know. It was weird. Yeah. But I met some amazing people that encouraged me, that helped me so much. And then, you know, with therapy, it definitely really helped. And then little by little, that's when my parents started understanding what was going on with me. And they were kind of able to understand a little bit of, you know, what I was going through, but they really lifted me up. And then, you know, through anxiety, it's not something that you can kind of it's gone, you know. I mean, it has happened, and that's amazing, but not with me. And it's for me, it's more of like a roller coaster ride. So I mean, I've been through therapy, and I've gotten better. I've been in time, and now I feel like there's a lot of things that I can kind of cope with and manage a little bit better. But hey, you know, the depression can still happen. It can still come back, and then that's when I kind of ground myself. I'm like, okay, well, I'm ready to go back to therapy, you know, and that's okay. You know, I'm ready to talk about it again, and that is okay. And I also use that's another thing too that I do. I like to use my platform to also share that with people because I know that I'm not the only one. And I was there in their shoes thinking that I'm the only one. I'm going crazy. I don't know what I'm doing. And just to share that and you know, just to let them know, like, hey, you're not alone. I completely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're yourself, who you used to be, or do you feel like you're a different version of yourself, or do you feel like it's a combination of who you learned and how to cope? Have you thought about that? Because I feel like you're in a place where I'm at now, dealing with my anxiety and depression.
Okay. So so before, like, you knew who you were, or you think you knew.
You thought you knew.
And
it was so scary not to understand who you were then.
Exactly. Oh my God, I think the AC turned off, so now we got like super loud.
Yeah, we did. You're good. You're good.
So then when that happened, that I lost myself, and I was like still trying to figure myself out. And now, like you said, like I feel like I'm a version of myself before. And like my newer,
like a hybrid. It
is, bro. Like I'm like, and I remember my friends, like my close friends from back home. They did tell me, they were supportive of me, but at the same time, like one of my best friends, she's like this tough love girl, like. I mean, we're like sisters. Like we fight, and then like we'd be like, "Oh, okay, you want to go get McDonald's? Okay, fine." You know, whatever. You know, like nothing. But she would always. I remember when I went through the like really bad stage of my anxiety and my depression and panic attacks. She's like, "You're not the same Stephania," and I didn't get it. I didn't feel. I was like, "What do you mean? Like it's still me, but like a better version." And blah 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 blah.
I like that real, but it's me.
But it's me. Just see, and that's how we go back to, bro. Like we're like right here, you know.
But yeah, I get it.
Oh yeah. So it's like, but now I understand. I'm like, it's so true now, you know, and I feel it. Like, you know, it's like a hybrid. I'm a hybrid.
We're hybrids. We're hybrids. You know, it's a curse and a blessing to experience something like that. It's because it's allowed me to have more empathy. It's allowed me to really like sit back and like not just watch, but become a part of somebody's experience. If I see that they're like going through it, then I'm like, oh fuck, like okay, I wonder what they need. How has your anxiety been now that you're experiencing this, because this is different. This is strange. This nobody understands.
Yeah.
Internet pendeja. Internet famous. It's a different kind of experience because
It's a whole different
sometimes you get recognized, and I'm not, because I've been around people who are internet famous, and I'm like, I've hung out with them, and so I've seen it, you know. And I've been in the industry like on the other side of things, and I do this stuff like on my own. But like we've done like tours with people where we invite them to Houston, and we do like the what do you call it? Oh my God, it's a tourist tour, basically, is what we did. And so I've been around people like internet famous people. I've been seeing them, like I'm hanging out with them, you know, in the background, making sure everything's okay, making sure they're fine. You know, I'm like the cateree, and I'm like the assistantee, and I'm like, what do you need? What do you want? How can I help you? You let me know, and I, you know, whatever, when we invite them to Houston. So I seen it. How has your, because maybe you've never talked about this, maybe you've never, because it's different to experience, but how has your anxiety been now that you do this?
Man, it was high.
Yeah.
It was pretty high. I mean, but, you know, so I started the videos for myself because I was going through a pretty bad depression. Then, you know, I started having fun with it. It was a great time. Then that's when a few months later, that's when I actually became viral. When I first started to see those numbers go up, I was like, what is going on? Like, what do I do from here? What do I do? I feel like I'm expected now to like perform. It's like kind of this pressure now, you know?
Yeah.
And my husband would tell me, he's like, hey, just keep doing what you're doing. Whatever you're doing right now is working for you. Just keep doing it. You know, like, don't worry if the numbers go down, if the numbers go up. And then, you know, sometimes I still, even to this day, I'm like, hi, I'm just going to be, you know, like, forgotten one day. And blah, 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 blah. It's like, why do you even think that? You know, like,
you're in the moment.
Yeah. Moment. And I'm like, but you don't understand. But then I get over it, and I'm like, you know what? I'm a bad, you know?
Yeah. No, and I hear you, and I hear you say that. And I think, like, your husband, like, what's going Get up, do it. You're doing it. But I don't understand, because I don't experience that again when you're in that space. Yeah. And so I feel like it's a whole new monster for you to be experiencing with your all that.
Completely different. I, you know, when the first trauma started for me, it was more of like a health related type of trauma, and I would be very scared that something would happen to me. But then, you know, social anxiety.
Oh my God.
And like being in the eye, and hiding my lonjas, and hiding how I look, and what's the good angle for me, what's the position. It was so different. It's a whole different ball game. But at the same time, I was also getting uplifted. So it was just kind of like, oh, like I'm freaking love being the real me, the people that, you know, like I'm you know, I'm not perfect, and I am gordita, and I sometimes don't know what to say, and I have facial hair, and you know, like it's like people like, yes, girl, queen, like, you know, slang, and I'm like, okay, I can be that. That's okay, you know. So it's just juggling those two things that I'm like, dang. Yeah. And even then, when people come up to me and like they recognize me and they say hi and stuff like that, like I love every minute of it, and not in a way that I'm like, you know, I'm all that. No, it's just I feel honored that you recognize me. Like I just like, are you kidding me? Like, no, like that means the world to me, because I know that I am in this position right now because of them. Yeah, you know, because of all the love and all the support that they give me, and I'm just like, no, I'm honored to be in your presence. What are you talking about? You know, like, I love it. I do.
That's
I love
amazing.
It. Yeah,
that's amazing. I like that a lot. I like that. I like your down to earthness. I like it. I like the fact that you're sharing your experience with everybody still, and like people tend to feel like they're a part of people. Like I tend to feel like I'm a part of people's experience. Like I love, and especially when I get them like right when they're about to take off, and you're like, oh, this motherfucker's gonna do fucking amazing things, man. Like, I'm gonna stay right here, front row, and see it. Yeah. And I can be one of those, like, I remember I was one of her first 5,000 followers. Yeah. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen the rise to fame. I've seen it. I witnessed firsthand. Okay, so you're experiencing all of this, and you're going through your anxiety. what can you tell those who are going through it? What can you tell those who are experiencing that, or who were at your worst when it first started happening to you?
It's just not giving up. Just keep going, just as there is going to be a next morning, there is going to be a better day. Like, I mean, I have bad days too, I'm like, and then sometimes it's really hard to kind of connect back and be like, okay, I know it's just for this moment, but there's going to be a new day. It's going to get better. And life continues. Life goes on. Just give it time. Give it time. I'm telling you, give it time, because I know that the same person that you can be standing right now and be going through the worst, and 6 months from now, you can be like, damn, I freaking beat that, or I am in such a good place right now.
I'm this far.
You have to, you have to, just keep going. Don't give up. Just don't give up. Like, it's gonna get better. I promise you. And one more thing. Fear is a huge thing with anxiety, right? Like that's pretty much it.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I'm always
fear.
scared.
You're scared of being scared
all the time.
You're fucking scared. It's the stupidest thing.
I mean,
like once you think about it, you're like, you're scared of being scared. Yes.
Scary.
Basically, yeah.
Fear is like even the word, like, oh damn, like but don't let it stop you from doing what you love. Don't let it stop you from making those memories, because if you miss out on something, you won't get that back. And then you're going to be like, oh man, what if I would have gone? And what if I would have made a change? What if I would have, I don't know if you've seen that cartoon. And it's kind of like a Not Giving Up too, where he's like digging in the mine.
Yeah.
And he's digging.
Oh,
digging.
Yeah,
He's
you
like,
shared
you know
that.
what? He's like, I'm going to give up. And then, Jenny shared it.
Yeah, Jenny shared it. That's right.
So we're like, yeah. She's like minded. And then like right when, when the he was getting ready to get those crystals and he gave up. So you just never know, I'm terrified of flying. I'm terrified. But I'm like, if I don't get on a freaking plane, I'm going to miss out on so much opportunities for myself. I'm going to miss out on so many memories. I'm going to miss out on a lot of stuff. So I'm like, just, pop a little pill, nothing like crazy, but and just try to get some sleep. I do, like, I meditate on it. I'm like, okay, we're gonna be fine, and I get on the plane, and that's it, and I'm good. And now I'm having like the best time of my life. So yeah,
I don't get on airplanes because of the anxiety.
Girl, we're gonna get on an airplane together.
We're gonna get on an airplane.
We're gonna get on an airplane. You and I.
Holy shit!
I'm gonna take you to Orlando.
Oh my god. My fucking soul left me for a moment there.
Hey,
on the plane.
Girl, I mean, you call me up and you let me know what helps me. We will have a whole conversation.
I will. I eventually will. I'm doing buses. I'm doing trains. I'm doing all of that stuff. So I will. I know I will. I fucking absolutely have to.
The good thing is that you're still going.
Like
the buses.
I haven't given
trains.
up. I'm not giving up. I was sharing with her like my agoraphobia and how I experience that and how it's difficult sometimes and how we do some of the same things where we research like the nearest exit, the nearest hospital, just in case.
You never know.
Because you never know. You never know with anxiety. You never know. Sometimes it just feels like you're going to lose your shit and you're going to go crazy. And the only way that you're going to be helped is physically be helped. Yeah. Physically be restrained or something. Yeah. That's how it feels sometimes. But I wanted to add something to what you said earlier when I asked you, like, what was it that you wanted to, because it brought me to my mind. It was brought up by myself to my mind. Oh my God. This is how my brain thinks. I think I wanted to add just a little bit to when you said just keep going. I think hope. I think that's one of the things that you lose when you go through anxiety and depression is the hope starts to leave. And you think there's no way.
There's no way out.
There's no way. There's hope. I promise you there's hope. Hope is when you had it, so it's attainable and it's going to come back.
It will.
Things always come full circle. The cycle of life. It is,
Correct.
It comes full circle. So even if it comes in little circles, hope always comes back.
Correct.
So I just wanted to add to that because I love what you said. And I was like, oh man, Tell them about hope.
Yes,
Tell them
that's
about
amazing.
hope. Tell them about how it comes back.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, that's something that nobody or nothing can take away from you. It's always having that hope,
Yeah.
you know, and that faith that, like, just, you know, things will get better, you know, that next day will come. I always think there's a song that says, there will be troubles at night, but joy comes in the morning. You know, it's there, man. Someone's getting a car, so if y'all hear a car engine's turn up, again, we in Houston, okay? We a little bougie and a little ghetto at the same time.
Yeah, but so
it does. You know, you gotta hold on.
So say that quote again.
Ay, ya me olvidé.
Algo por la noche y por la mañana.
Yeah, troubles may come at night, but joy comes in the morning. Yeah.
So interpretation of it for you is what?
Just keep going, keep you know, keep hope alive, man. Just keep that hope, porque nadie te lo puede quitar. Nobody can take that away from you. You can have that hope. You can change that. Have that mindset, and you know, a lot of it also has to do with just training your mind and being in that positive mindset. Sometimes it takes harder than other times, but just go back to it. Even if you have to keep, like she said, even if you have to go a little circle, like, it's gonna come. It's gonna come back. You know, train yourself, train your mind to be positive and be like, no, I'm not gonna, because you're always fighting with your mind. Your mind is gonna be your worst enemy at times, you know. So you gotta fight. You're in control.
You heard that? Don't stop.
Period.
Believing. Hold on to that feeling.
I don't remember.
Come on. Don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. Oh my God.
I don't know that part. I'm so sorry.
Okay, so
Wait. Street lights.
yes.
People. Esa me la sé nada.
That's it. That was it. I just wanted you to hear. Like, I was like, I know she has to. Because as you were talking, that's what I was like in my head. I was like, don't stop believing. Hold on to that feeling. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I felt that shit in my soul. I was like, it's here.
No, eat it up.
It's
Eat
here.
it up.
It's here. Okay. So I have you out here, the goddamn sun. I'm going to let you go. But before I do let you go, I asked you last time, and I don't know if you remember what you responded, but hopefully you remember, or you give me a whole new one. All right. So do you consider yourself a leader?
I remember this question. I was like,
I got it.
no, so what I responded last time was, I do, but sometimes it's really hard for me to believe in that. Again, it's just like that whole mindset. You gotta be ready, you know, to fight your mind sometimes. But what gives me that, like, hope is my following. Like, my followers always hype me up. Like, they're always like, girl, you know, I can't believe, like, you're doing this. Like, and then they're like, I binge watch your stuff and it just made my day. I had such a bad day today. And I'm like, I'm doing stuff, you know? And I'm like, I'm actually helping people. I'm not just literally putting on tiny hands and doing a video and that's it. Like, I'm helping people.
You are.
Yeah. And I love that. And then they help me.
Yeah.
Help them.
Yeah. Help
me. You. And themselves.
I binge on your stuff.
Oh,
I binge on your stuff. And I told her, I want it to be in this interview. I binge on her stuff. I binge on it, okay? When I have a hard time, I go back and I look at my favorite videos over and over and over.
Well, not for me, but like other creators. So I get it.
2, 3 in the morning, ando de carcaja. I was like, Juan's like, Angelica, please put the phone away. No, like, I am having a bad moment. I need to de-stress, and this is the best way I know
That's
how.
Right. Yes.
This is what I know what to do. And you among, I think, like one or maybe one or two, maybe two, but you I go back to, and I'm like, I have to, like, because it's a place of comfort for me. Like, just the voice, the hands, the chistes, like, and I remember you at one point were sharing, like, I did this like at 3 o'clock in the morning because I couldn't sleep because I was just going through it, and I was like, fuck, you know how funny I was going through the same shit that same night.
Look at that. Yeah, I mean, and again, I love how I can relate to you, you know, and like we could laugh about it and then just like We can be literally going through it right now and crying, but
I can.
we can laugh about it. I was
can.
literally just having a conversation with my friend. My phone is all cracked, and I'm like, so I'm telling her about my life, and like, you know, sometimes it's hard times, and I'm like, my phone is literally a reflection of my life right now. It's cracked, but it keeps going.
It keeps going.
You know, I mean, it's doing its job.
It has a life.
It's got a life.
Yeah,
you know, it's
keep
your
going.
life.
Yeah.
You know, and and she's here cracking up. I'm like, we gotta laugh, dude. That's another thing too. Life is too short to not laugh.
To not enjoy it.
That's right.
Before I let you go, is there anything that I missed? Anything that you would like to say? I know people can find you, and I know it's not difficult to be found, but tell them please where to find you.
I'm on TikTok, on Instagram. I want to start up YouTube shorts. So definitely, I've put a couple of skits up, but it's the same handle as Steffi Savvy, and it's double A, not double V, double A. And yeah, you know, I love you guys from the bottom of my heart. I just gotta give it all to you guys. Everything that I do, everything that has happened to me in my life is because of you guys. So I love y'all.
Oh, she's talking to the audience, her fans.
Yes, I love you too.
Because I'm there, because I watched you, and I want to, at least one of those views was mine.
Yes.
And probably several hundred at this point.
Dito, yes.
Oh my God, I'm giving away my my fantasy, my I'm such a fan. I am. But thank you so much for coming on here and having this amazing conversation with me. And if you already know where she's at, and if you're watching this and you're one of her fans, let her know, hey, you're amazing. Tell her what video was it that got you the way it got me. Yeah, you heard it here. It was the one that she would, you know, my friend and I was like, oh fuck, like that one. There were several other, but that's the one that comes to mind, and that's the that's one of my repeats for me.
I love it. Thank you.
This was an amazing conversation again. Thank you for coming on here. I'm a big fan, and I love you, and thank you for coming on here. And just really quick, una despedida, just to say people bye and where they can find you, Steffi Savvy, with double A's. Yeah. Okay, and she's gonna start a YouTube shorts. And like I was saying, if you found her on here, let her know where you found her, which one was the one that got you, which one was the one that you were like, oh, that's it, I'm here. I'm like a fly stuck to the, you know what I'm saying? So okay, bueno. For this time, for real, I'm gonna have to I gotta let you go back inside and visit your parents. You're here to visit your parents, not people. So with that, I'll see you next time. And thank you for having the conversation with me.
Of course. It was a pleasure being here. I love talking to you, girl. Thank you so much for having me.
Really quick, if you can just wave at my camera. All right. And with that, I'll see you next time. Bye.